Together, Cogitate and Bridge Specialty Group are reshaping the wholesale distribution of specialty and surplus lines insurance, driven not just by technology, but by reimagining how wholesalers, carriers, and retail agents can work together. During our three-part series, Bridge Specialty Group's Joe Failla, COO, and Ted Stuckey, Head of Digital Distribution, joined Cogitate CEO, Arvind Kaushal, to reflect on their journey from a single carrier, single state digital platform pilot to a multi-carrier, 50-state marketplace for E&S and personal lines. They also share the practical realities of building a digital distribution platform at scale within a wholesale operation. Part 3 of our series moves the AI discussion beyond theory to real-life examples where embedded AI is delivering measurable value in the wholesale E&S environment today. Let's listen in now.
Joe, Ted, where do you see the applicability of AI coming into the workflows where it can help us to adapt and adopt this platform more?
Yeah, so Joe's talked a lot about the data and the data entry side, and that's the key that unlocks so much of this. And so you think about where the largest payloads of data show up in that transaction. Obviously, submission intake is massive, both from a data extraction, data sort of standardization and mapping, but also augmenting that with other data. We in various parts of our business, we have well over 90% of our submissions that run through AI platforms that extract that data, structure that data, and push it into other systems. And
that's impressive.
It's a massive time saver. Yeah. It's a massive efficiency gain. It helps with process standardization. It helps with workload. It helps with accuracy, all the things. But then you get into the sort of quoting process, and we have things like policy comparison, things like proposal generation, things like inspection reviews, where our teammates know what the flags are that they really need to lean in and focus on, and we can take the rest of that cognitive load off their plate and allow an AI system to work through that. Those are some of the areas that we're investing, I would say, the majority of our energy around. Obviously, you've got things like appetite matching, which is always super interesting because locking down what a carrier specific appetite is hard enough. But once you start bringing all these products onto the platform, we don't want it to turn into spreadsheeting by price. That's not who we are to our customers. They deserve better, our retail agents. We don't want to put them in a situation to just look at 12 results and say, well, I don't know which one I'm going to choose. I'm going to choose the cheapest one. How do we actually match their submission with the right markets based on a variety of characteristics that are above and beyond anything that we can do today?
And then I love it. And as you said, and then, even if when we put, let's say, 8 carriers over there, but it's not only about matchmaking, but even the recommendation, because what Joe started with, it's not the price, it's all very important. What coverages you need, what is important to you, and come out with a recommendation. Here is 1, 2, 3. You can pick what you want.
By bringing personal lines onto a platform like Cogitate, we make those types of experiences that much more attainable, because the pre-Cogitate world and the world that most of our teammates are living in right now is one that is highly fragmented across several platforms, and that's not conducive for investments in emerging technologies and things like that, because we're trying to help our teammates keep their head above water. And so being able to bring all this data together on a single platform, bring so much of that experience onto a single platform, bring more and more and more of our markets onto that platform, it only opens up opportunity for us, which is really exciting. And the other cool thing is, by partnering with Cogitate, we get all of your thought leadership on that as well, right? You're able to say, hey, look at this disparate segment of the flow, and here's some really cool stuff that we're playing around with that we're really interested in. What do you think about that? And we're like, we hadn't even thought of that. That's where the basis of this partnership, in that pilot and in that call from Joe, why that makes this so important and so different, because it is truly a partnership where I believe Cogitate's bringing the best of their technical capability and innovation to the table. We're bringing opportunity at a massive scale.
Absolutely.
And we've barely even scratched the surface. So it's a really enriching partnership from that perspective. I think AI is a great example where everyone's trying to figure out how to add value, how to drive change with it. And if we were just alone, sort of off in our corner trying to do it, I don't think we'd get half of the ideas that we do from talking with your team.
Yeah, it's as easy as like, we're just having a conversation and you're like, oh, well, we've done that and we're looking into that.
I remember that inspection match. You said, man, you never told me. Sorry.
So it's like, so it's having those conversations and talking about, okay, what are we looking at and what you guys are building and looking at yourselves, and then matching that together. Because at the end of the day, AI is, this big thing, and it takes over every conversation that we talk about these days, right? But we've got to figure out where the pockets are, and how does we use AI to enrich our teammates' experience, right, and help them in their workload, and use those tools, to help them and to help us. We look at inspections and stuff like that, and using AI as it relates to that. Well, that's a huge load on our people, right? As far as what they have to do and review and look at and everything like that. But if we're able to do that quicker and more accurately, right, that then helps our loss ratios and helps our partnership with our carriers. So looking at AI in those aspects is very important, and kind of the road that we're going down and looking into. And leading through that charge, right? Because it's not going to be easy. Right, there's going to be bumps in the road. You've got to make some tough decisions. You're changing the way business is being done for generations, right? Like, the insurance market's been around a very long time, and how it was very manual, and we've all gone through this journey of technology and where we are, and it just continues to move forward. But you always have to be not at the forefront of that, because you don't want to be at the bleeding edge, but you want to see and be in tuned, and I feel like the leaders are always seeing what around the corner to what's coming next, right? And thinking about that experience of how are we going to write business, and as the market changes and and different tools are coming out, how do we take those and utilize those? So I think it's very important to keep up on it, and not to be afraid to make investments in the right things that will make the experience better. Because if you're just kind of on the sideline looking, it's going to pass you by, right? So you've always got to be thinking about, okay, what's next, and partnering with a Cogitate helps us see around those corners as well, right? So it's not just our people that are looking and reading and figuring out what's going on. You're in the market as well, and you have other customers, and you're seeing things evolve. So it's us talking and having that dialogue to say, okay, what's next, and how do we fix this pain point, and what could we do differently to fix this, or make this experience better for our customers?
Yeah, I think one of the more underappreciated components of our industry is how entrepreneurial it is. Genuinely entrepreneurial.
I agree.
And size matters, but that culture is what really separates the leaders from the followers, and the willingness to invest. And we've been fortunate to acquire businesses that were Cogitate customers, right? I mean, there's some remarkable businesses out there, super regional wholesalers that are doing things exceptionally interesting. And so much of our growth as an organization has come through acquisition. And each time we bring those organizations in, it sparks that next round of, why are we doing it this way? Why can't we do this? What about that? Look at that. And having the courage to admit that the way we've been doing it for however many years may not be the best way to do it. The technology that we're using may not be the right technology. And leaning in and testing, right? And if as long as the partners we have embrace that mindset, embrace the fact that we might skin our knees a little bit along the way. We're going to try some things. We're going to learn some things. We're going to get some feedback. We're going to, we're going to adapt. I mean, this partnership started one carrier, one office, one state,
yes,
solving an exceptionally tactical need that we felt like Cogitate could uniquely solve, and has expanded from there. And that still takes courage today, but it took a hell of a lot of courage 2 years ago. And it was
he's a courageous guy.
it goes back to that like entrepreneurial mindset that's saying like we've got 12 weeks to solve a meaningful problem in the market because our customers need us to.